Nearly half of Asian American youth are showing symptoms of depression, but the most alarming part is the fact that many will never reach out for help. Why is that? Let's talk about it in this segment. This stat is from one of the most in-depth mental health reports of last year, focusing on Asian, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander youth. It reveals a silent crisis unfolding amongst us, where cultural stigma, discrimination, and systemic barriers stop so many from speaking up about their mental health. Some people might think this isn't really an issue in our homes, but is it true that South Asian families neglect mental health the most?
So if we're looking at the South Asian population, the stigma, and all of the challenges that come up, I think there's two pieces, right? First is the cultural and the religious piece. And the second thing is the misunderstanding. The South Asian community, for example, have gone through a lot of wars, from the British to, cultural, religious divisions as well. So when we think about our parents growing up in a time in a generation, how they grew up in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s was very different to the life that we live here. So when you think about those contexts, absolutely, our communities are far behind other communities in terms of seeking support for mental health and actually being taken a proactive initiative. But in the understanding piece, it's not that they don't care about therapy or it doesn't have any meaning or value. They just don't understand it. And they don't understand it because for them, life was about hard work, resilience, going above and beyond. And you kind of saw the difficulties and the challenges, and you worked with a lot of sabr, and you kind of persevered until you reach the fickle point of success. Unfortunately, with young people today, what the parents are seeing is again lack of misunderstanding. When they see their kids who have a nice house, who have a good job, with money in the bank, who are traveling around the world, coming home to say, I'm sad and I'm depressed, it doesn't resonate with them. They just can't understand it.
The data backs it up. 48% of youth surveyed report moderate to severe depression. 27% have never sought professional help. Suicide is the number one cause for death for Asian Americans ages 15 to 24, and number two for Native Hawaiians or Pacific Islanders. Top stressors include academic and professional self-pressure, a sense of duty towards family, and the parental expectations.
Is an alarming stat, but it also is an opportunity. We don't want to shy away and put this under the rug. We want to recognize it and celebrate it and accept it, a sense of ownership that this is who we are, this is our reality. But the main piece is what are we going to do different? Not necessarily always for our parents. In therapy, we have this term radical acceptance. If my father is 75 years old, am I going to really at this stage, get a breakthrough with him in terms of who he is and how he understands mental health? Maybe not, but I can definitely change the culture within my home and how mental health is viewed and perceived and normalized. So I think the first piece is going back to that psychological safe space that feelings and emotions are a normal part of conversation. We talk about our issues, things that we're doing great, things that we're celebrating, but also the difficulties, hardship, our struggles, our challenges. And then what are we going to do about it from a supportive lens? So we're leading with love and encouragement. And if so our children, our family members are able to highlight, hey, these are all the great things that are taking place in my life. And here's a few pieces that I'm struggling. What supports do I need? That would be the fundamental first piece because in therapy, we say awareness is the first step.
Compared to other groups, Asian youth are the least likely to seek support, despite facing similar or greater challenges. So if you're a parent watching this, what are some early signs that you should look for? And how can families break the stigma to actually have open and supportive conversations regarding mental health, which in itself is already a big challenge to tackle?
Of course, mental health impacts all of us in various capacities. So some of the good questions that parents can really put the model on is the first, the sense of psychological safety. Do I have a relationship with my children where outside of the barriers that often within the Asian community we hold father and mother are way above the kids and they just can't be open and direct. That adds stigma in itself. I can't go to my father and tell him certain things. So breaking that piece down and creating a home where there's a sense of psychological safety, where kids can just be themselves and they can ask the questions that they want. And it allows the parents to have a conversation and dialogue. Often, when we think about mental health, it's any scenario, any situation, any difficulties that the kids are facing where they feel like they don't have the skills or the capacity to be able to manage that situation in a way that is healthy for them. And the response that they're implementing are actually causing more harm. And often, when we look at it from a depressive lens, it's about them feeling helpless and hopeless and powerless, and they feel stuck. And this is where if parents are able to recognize, okay, the kids are stuck, they can't solve a particular issue or a problem, they need help. Where do we get the help from? Is it the auntie next door? Is it the uncle? Or is it a therapist? That's the key question.
One young person in this report shared that if I tell my parents I'm struggling, they'll think I'm weak. I do not want to disappoint them. This is not rare. It's a reality for many. The pressure to stay silent can stop the conversation before it even begins.
Alhamdulillah, we can say there's a lot of, for example, if you identify as Muslim, if you identify as South Asian, if you need therapy in a particular language, or you're looking for a therapist from a particular culture, alhamdulillah, we have a lot of that. So Ruh Care is an example of a Muslim-led organization that has imams that are psychotherapists. So you can ask therapy question to get treatment, but also perspective from someone who knows the religion, who understands the Islamic lens. Because one thing as Muslims is important for us is our religion, which is fundamental to who we are. So it's not about just doing things that we like and we enjoy that will help us get out of it. Is it Islamically appropriate? So we have to also be able to look at it from the Islamic lens and sometimes culturally. Is it culturally acceptable? And again, these are not questions about right or wrong. It's how do we understand something? How do we put it into a perspective where we can come out with the outcome that is in our favor? We don't have to compromise either or.
And for those already struggling, here are some simple at home exercises that can help with anxiety, depression, and stress.
I think a good way to look at this is for us to look at it in the four criteria, right? The physical wellness, mental wellness, emotional wellness, and spiritual wellness. So if you're a young person watching this and you're struggling, recognize that, you know what? Stress, depression, anxiety, these are normal things in life that will come with from job issues, family issues, friends, you can't avoid them. These are normal part of life. But if you're faced with a scenario where you have anxiety, but you're not able to manage it on your own accord, you need some support. When you recognize, yeah, I don't have that skills, that's okay. This is the time for you to say, let me get a professional that comes in that helps me understand what is anxiety, the psychoeducation piece around it. How does anxiety impact me? Because it's very different individual to individual. What does my anxiety look like? For example, and the third, next time I'm, in a scenario or situation or I'm facing anxiety, what am I going to do about it? Where the outcome is going to lead to my success and my happiness. So it's allowing us to pause, reflect, identify, and we should all have those skills within us that if I have a bad day, right, and I walk into the house, what are the first three things that I'm going to do because I'm sad and I got some unfortunate news. And if we don't have answers to it and our home doesn't have things that we can utilize for our well-being, that's a good place to start. So in terms of looking at home things, ask yourself, if I come home after a long day and I'm stressed and overwhelmed, what can I do to physically attend to myself? Are there things in the house that I can engage in? What are the things that will help me in terms of my mental health? What are the things that can help me in terms of my emotional wellness? What are things that I can do from a spiritual perspective? And once we break those down into tangible actions, then we can clearly identify different things that we can do.
Solutions go beyond the home as well. We need culturally competent counselors who understand these unique challenges. We need mental health education in schools, available in multiple languages, and we need youth led campaigns that speak in their own voices. Most importantly, support must be affordable and accessible. If you're watching this and you're struggling, your voice matters. Your pain is real. You do not have to go through it alone. I've linked resources below. Share this video, start a conversation, and make sure silence is not the loudest voice in the room. Whether you are seeking help at an individual level for yourself, for your kids, or even as a family or a couple. There are solutions out there for everyone. You're watching GTA Muslims today. With your help, we will bring a change one day at a time. Inshallah, I'll see you in the next video. Your host, Moise Rahman.